2020 is almost in the rearview mirror, and we're not going to miss you. Now is the time to look forward to 2021, set those goals, achieve new things on the water, archive the places, the rivers, the adventures. Don't let another year pass without your whitewater journal. Fully redesigned and now available at hammerfactor.com. All right, let's get into part 2 of episode 78.
Of los chicharrones.
You're listening to Grace, Geltman, and Weld on the Hammer Factor. Take it away, boys.
So, how would I introduce you to any of our audience who doesn't know? Evan Garcia, professional kayaker, North American Waka Kayaks distributor. What should I add to that? How does it
brother?
There's been stages, like overall, it's just complete, like whitewater nerd, like an encyclopedia of kind of semi-useless whitewater information. It's just been stashed in this.
You created the term yeasted. I think that's a real feather in your cap.
Parts of many, like I think, like
Laying treats, if I'm not mistaken, that's you.
Yeah, I was big time with the dem shits for all those years, and we were browning everything, doing our thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm 31 years old. I've been kayaking since I was a little kid. My family, my dad was a kayaker, and just, it took me a long time to fall in love with the sport because I was terrified of it, but just been a kayaking nerd ever since.
How old were you when that switch flipped from being scared to being stoked?
I think I was 13.
Oh.
Did you go to world class?
Yeah.
You did. So my kid's in world class.
Yeah. How does he like it?
Well, it's good, but I don't really talk. I mean, he talks to me like once every 6 weeks now. He sends me a text like, I broke my paddle. That's all I hear.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I need a new paddle.
Yeah. So what's he going to be like outside? Like, is he going to be able to reintroduce himself back into society, or is he basically going to move in with you after this?
I could, but I wasn't a very productive member of like society before I went in. I was an awkward, weird young kid with like ADHD. So world class helped me in that term. Kind of like I got to use my energy instead of just sitting in a class like fucking tweaking. I go kayaking. And they held my kayaking above me. Like I had to do my schoolwork. When I went to public school, I cheated the whole time. I never did anything. I never read anything. Nothing. And when I went to world class, my teachers aren't dumb. Like they know who, they're like,
because there's 4 of you, by the way.
There's 4 of us in class. Like, what was this chapter about, Evan? I was like math and stuff, and they, okay, you're not kayaking today. So for me it was good, but yeah, the thought of college or any other like higher education is just poof.
How many years did you go?
I went 2 years.
What years? Like junior, senior? Yeah, because he's a sophomore, and I mean, kayaking gear has made us wealthy, but not that wealthy. And it hasn't made us wealthy either. That's a joke.
No, I mean,
so
my
he's
parents.
Going back to school next year.
Yeah,
unless we win the lottery.
I mean, for some kids, like I met so many. Part of the coolest thing on the East Coast for me was to like see a lot of young kids who were just like super talented that I'd never heard of.
Savage group of kids out here right now.
Yeah, I never heard any of those kids, and I'm like kind of in this fucking Instagram scene or whatever. And I like got out there, and there's like 14-year-old kid running gorilla at 200%, and I was like, God damn, that is stout, And there was just a lot of young kids who they had the fire, and I don't think many of them were going to world class or had been. So I don't think it's like a prerequisite to being, a professional level kayaker, especially living in some place like the Southeast or White Salmon. You just have to have supportive parents,
Yeah.
We'll see.
You just need a river that runs all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you can get your hours in, it doesn't really matter.
And that was the problem with me. It's like I just living in the Rockies, like every season. I mean, as a young kid, I was progressing, but I feel like for older paddlers, they just like they get to the certain point where they're solid, and then the fucking fall hits, and then they start the next spring, and they're like full beat mode again, and then they get to the point where they're solid, you know. And yeah, it doesn't work. You gotta be someplace where you can paddle.
Well, thanks for coming on, Evan. This is our 2021 prediction show.
Yeah.
So we got some things to talk about there. Anything else you want to add about it? How'd your race go? Wrap up your trip.
Yeah, I mean, man, it was such a great trip. Like, I just felt like I got so lucky out there. The race was awesome. I like freaking had such a good time training for it and doing it. I just think that's like the purest type of race. It's like time trial. You in a kayak you don't really know down like some burly, scary slots. You know, I was like the green for me. I was just like everything was just like burly slot rapids. I was like, all right, this is like my least favorite style of kayaking, but that's what made it fun. It's like I just had so much like room for improvement. Every lap I was like, oh dude, I'm like way better than the last lap, and that made it fun. And like that for me now, that's like what gets the fire burning, you know, like keeps me stoked. And green race was like it just like made the fall for me, you know, like I got to train a little bit before I left. And I mean, when it's usually low, I don't paddle here. You know, I'm not like, I just can't fucking motivate to go out on like cold, low water laps here. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't love kayaking that much, you know? But the green race let me do it. It let me go out there and like have some goal. So I like, thanks for running the race, dude. It was like it made my fall for sure.
Yeah, man. It made
I was
my
saying
fall
earlier,
that you
man,
came.
I had to drive out east a couple months or so ago, and I haven't paddled all summer, but I got out there. The minute I got out east, I started paddling every single day, just because there's a ton of water and a ton of stuff to do, you know? Like when Aiden and I were on Great Falls like that afternoon.
I got to do the Friendsville stuff too, and the Friendsville stuff was sweet. I got so lucky again. I was like sitting in DC, pounding rain, and like the Blackwater is like spiking to 1,000 CFS, and I'm like, oh boy, let's go to the mountains and fucking get scared, you know?
Yeah.
How high did you get the Blackwater?
We'll get ours. Dude, white salmons, we're just waiting, you know? We're just waiting. It's going to come back.
You see that plant back there? Check out that plant.
I know.
Did you run the Blackwater while you were out there?
Yeah, twice.
What was the level?
First time was the evening, like 650, and then the next morning was like 290 or something.
650 is the perfect level.
It was so sick. And I didn't know anything. I went with Matt Fithian, who's like a real old buddy of mine. We used to like compete and freestyle together back when he was the other kayaking high school when it was 2. Mm-hmm. We had that little rivalry, and it's good, dude. It's just fun to get on that kind of quality of a river with a local and just like follow. And it was fucking awesome, man. Like if that river ran with the consistency like of you know, of the green or something, imagine like fuck, I'd be there for sure.
It runs an awful lot nowadays.
Yeah, I know. Well, fuck,
I ran that river 100 days one year. But that was multiple laps in a day. But I got 100 laps in that river one year.
Yeah. And now everybody's doing the lower, and it's sweet, man. Like that lower part's awesome too.
Yeah, it's a longer day for sure, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Fuck yeah. I got lucky out there, but it got me ready for the winter. I'm feeling good. White salmon's coming, baby. We're coming, and when it comes, it's gonna be good.
That's what I needed, man. La Nina is gonna deliver for us sooner or later.
I mean, my best week of kayaking of 2020, for sure. We were calling the cocaine storm because we lost all of our snowpack to this like late January, like fucking Pineapple Express storm just hit us, and we had like this great snowpack, and it just blew all out. The little white was like 5 feet for 10 days straight. I mean, dude, it doesn't get better than that. For me, it doesn't get better than that. Like, it's so fast and scary and big, but somehow good. That's, for me, it's the best river in the world. Like, so I just wait for that.
That was this year? That was way back.
This year.
Yeah.
2020. Yep. I know it feels like a decade ago, but you know, pre-corona. Well, Lewis was already forecasting coronavirus when that was going on.
That was entirely Billy Hearn. He
Yeah,
called me
I
and got
remember
me
that.
whipped up into a
Yeah.
terror about it.
Because Galen came back from Vietnam
Galen was like
and
patient
he was
zero.
sick. He was sick. And I like did a lap with him. He was like hacking up a lung, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And then I told Lewis about it, and he was like, "Are you serious, dude?" And then my brain started going, "Oh man!" Luckily, dodged that.
All right, how do we want to do this, guys? Do we want to do some listener mail here with Evan? You got some time, Evan? How's your
Hey,
schedule looking?
questions.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You guys good with that?
Yeah, what is?
Gabriel Gunning. Now, do you know Gabriel Gunning, Lewis? He says, longtime listener, first-time commentator, blah, 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 blah.
I
First
think we
things,
met yeah.
he says, Lewis remembers me from his law school days in Oregon. We never paddled together.
LUIS. By
I
the
think
way,
he was
new
friends
one.
with Sammy.
Yeah, with Drevo. Anyway, he talks about successful saves built on the back so many, one of whom was Dennis Kerrigan. And I guess he's referencing the show with the Kanawha Falls rescue. And I don't know I can't really figure out if Dennis Kerrigan is still alive or he's not alive anymore. But he talks about his career working with the NOC and several different things, and his advocacy within the rescue community in general, and the whitewater rescue folks specifically set the foundation for this amazing and successful rescue. DK was quintessential rescue paramedic, not a paragod, but a healer and a humble person with integrity, unique, relevant skill set. He was competent, compassionate, and caring, and taught his students to be the same. I could go on and on and on for days, but I'll keep it short. Bottom line, fellas, you're killing it, and I suspect finding your stride a bit. The advocacy efforts of Lewis, branding expertise of Grace, and business acumen of Weld, combined with the healthy skepticism, humor, and excellence within the paddling industry, is just an excellent combo, and have a lot of journalism, such as episode 77. Frankly, it's just awesome. Thanks. So see
Well written. Well written comment.
That made up for the hate mail, Lewis. You know, that was.
Yeah.
So what do you guys get hate mail?
Oh, dude, we just went through it. Lewis gets them a lot, man. I'm gonna have to create a whole.
He's kind of a lightning rod.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to create a whole account, to separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if
amazing.
we need to have some kind of chime every time Lewis gets called an elitist class 5 snob.
I like the hate mail more than I like the comments because it's just it just entertains me,
Yeah, don't sell yourself short on the hate mail either there, bud.
I listened to a few episodes on the drive out. I was in like Kansas City late night, and I was just like, "All right, it's time." I was laughing quite a bit, man. It was funny. There was definitely some moments I had to be like, "All right, 30 seconds." I had to skip, a little bit and stuff, But I dig it, and I like the style for sure. You guys have a little three wise men out there.
The thing you have to know every time you get offended by Weld is that Weld has listened to every episode of Howard Stern since like 1984. And that's where it's the birth of his style.
That's not quite fair. I like to say things that will get people to write something that will refute me or, prove that I'm wrong. I feel like that's good content.
It is.
I don't mind going out on a limb and saying ridiculous things every once in a while to get.
So what are your predictions for 2021, man?
Hang on, we got some more emails here.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Jesus, look at you.
We need
Relax there.
we need a 3 wise men T-shirt.
Yeah.
Actually, there you go.
The wise man, bolt of lightning.
All right, this comes at us from Max Hammond. He says, "What would your reaction be if a fellow guide paddler came to you as you were putting on the river and told you that the first boat to pass a certain spot on the river had to ram a tree branch stump out of the way, all the time knowing that you knew the other paddler was on the river the night before cleaning up trees so that the river could be safer to navigate? The spot in question been free of rapids, but having a strong current and water levels being around waist deep on an average-sized person. This happened to me this summer as the raft company I worked for was loading boats for our morning run. Also, I'm a rather tall person."
I feel like we should be playing like the Twilight Zone music while you're reading this email.
Is he saying that somebody went in and did like a incomplete job of clearing wood and like moved a bad log into a different place or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that went
let's
right over my head.
let's skip the rest of these and just go to the predictions.
Hang on, there may be one or two in here.
The important questions for anonymous is
There
good.
was a good one about pooping on here, wasn't
yeah,
there?
the poop and
That
do
is-
anonymous the important questions in poop jar.
Okay, all right, let's do poop jar. Here we go. Just listen to
And
your
even John Sue had a good one also.
Just listen to your responsible pooping bit. Ammo can groovers are too heavy to carry in. Okay, Evan, if you didn't hear this, we got an email from Ben Blake talking about basically there's piles of human poop all over at Flintstone Camp on Upper Cherry and basically all the High Sierra overnighters.
Yeah, that's not just High Sierra overnighters. That's like any BLM camps in Oregon, Washington. It was just like it was a shitstorm this year, man. People were just shitting everywhere. It was insane. Yeah.
Well, Mike gives us a solution. He says reuse your empty peanut butter jars. They weigh next to nothing, are good for about 2 servings, unless you're a super pooper, and do a decent job at holding in the smell. Plus, you already own them if you eat any bit of peanut butter.
Yeah, but then what do you do with the shit?
You keep it like I do. You want to see? It's right here. I got a whole cabinet full of poop.
Like the magic with the groover is that there's an actual way to like properly dispose of like
What?
shit.
Dude,
I think you poop in a bag, then you ram it in the peanut butter jar. Is that right?
Yeah,
That's kind of what I'm picturing.
you just like pick it up dog poop style.
Yeah.
But I guess here's the real thing. It'd be good to get Evan's take on this. Is like, it sort of feels like, sadly, it might be getting to be time that kayakers have to start carrying out their own poop on these runs too. Like on the ones where everybody camps at the exact same place. It's like you turn over like every rock at Site Z, like every rock at Flintstone Camp. It's like,
Yeah.
kind of.
Or I remember them doing this on the Yangtze. I did a raft trip in China, and they would like dig a pit, like a pretty fucking big pit, and like everybody would shit in the pit, and then cover it. And then at some point you just bury it substantially,
I could
But
see that
that's-
too. For
I mean, it's
sure.
better than just like people pooping and covering it with a rock, And it's gross. Like I remember one year, it was like a big deal. I think you were there, Lewis. Somebody had shit like on the portage of Site Z, and it was like there was one move where you had to like use this rock, and there was just like human shit on.
It's so
I was like,
bad, man.
what were you thinking? Like, why would you ever drop trowel here of all places? And it was like a big deal because it was one of those years where the scene was popular and people got out and they were just immediately hit Facebook. Fuck, thank God for Facebook. Jesus Christ, what would we do without it? And they were just like, playing the blame game, and everybody was,
I missed that Facebook drama. That's some good one.
yeah, dude, there's so much. I mean, you saw this Springs drama when all the young kids were out in Cali.
Oh yeah, dude, that came back to me like 4 times.
Yeah, I know.
But I think the point is like I actually say anecdotally and business wise, there's more class 4 and 5 boaters than we've ever had, right? Like we're just no longer that sport where these hard rivers get run once or twice a year. They're going to get run by dozens, if not hundreds of people.
As soon as the kids get their driver's license, they're there.
That's just the sport we live in now.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
Peanut butter jar and some baggies seems like a good
I
solution.
think it's
to me.
good, man. I feel like it's kind of getting to be time.
Totally.
Sadly.
Especially, I mean, pick the rivers, and like I don't know who's going to enforce that, and like God, I mean, hopefully just people learn to go, like do a walk, go distance, and bury it properly.
That seems that's just always been my style. Like I don't want to take a shit near a bunch of other people. I need my like 10 minutes off up on the hillside kind of thing.
I know, like on Rattlesnake, whenever I'm camping at Rattlesnake, I go like fucking up there, and I like get kind of explore and find myself a nice little spot, where nature calls.
This is from Anonymous. He says, subject, listener mail, Hammer Factor, the only lucrative whitewater business. He says, 2 points, Hammer Factor crew. What's the purpose of the podcast? Create some drama, play with audio gear, rake millions? Seriously, are you in it for the bankrolling profit, Lewis's conservation work, IR propaganda? Paddlers deserve to know. How about bringing back some discipline and revisiting the quick answer segment? To get you started, here are some questions. I'm sure this will lead to some more App Store ratings to further your potential nefarious motives. So this person thinks we're in it for nefarious reasons. And we're going to throw these to Evan. All right, Evan, you got 30 seconds to answer these.
30.
You ready?
Yeah, here we go.
Hang on, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Let me get my timer going.
Let me have a drink of water before this.
Yeah, get ready. And go. Spray skirt, dry top. What's the trick to the perfect seal?
Oh, you have to, double tunnel. There's never going to be a perfect one, but double tunnel, obviously.
Plastic boat shavings in the river rocks. Appropriate level of guilt and remedy?
Yeah, for sure. Let's not get caught up in it,
Earplugs. Every day, cold days, warm days?
Every day. Take it from somebody who is paying the price.
Old bolts versus new. Style points or thick-headed to be in an RPM era design?
Oh, man. Just get out on the river. Don't stress. It's not the Indian, it's the air. Wait, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian. Sorry. That might not even be 2020 appropriate. Let's say it's not the ship, it's the captain.
Breakdown paddle and full med kit for 4-5 roadside. Optional for your cruise or not?
I don't think breakdown is necessary for roadside. Med kit is roadside, keep it in the car. I don't think you need that. Anytime wilderness, yeah, bring them both for sure.
1 minute, 5 seconds. Not bad, dude.
You're right about the double tunnel skirt.
It'll never work. It's never dry.
What's that?
Dry deck.
It's never dry.
Well,
Yeah.
No one wants to. I understand why people don't want to dry deck though, because it's a huge investment for something that only works in one season on one boat that you have.
You can use the double tunnel with dry suit as well.
Double tunnel with even a dry top. You take the inner tunnel out of a dry top completely, just remove it and get a double tunnel skirt.
Doesn't that seem like so much on your waist though?
Well, you get rid of the inner tunnel. Because right now, picture this, right? Water, the configuration we have right now with a double tunnel jacket is that water rushes up the outer tunnel of your jacket and then down the little channels of fabric made by your inner tunnel down into your boat, right?
Yeah.
But with a double tunnel skirt, you tear out the inner tunnel and stick the jacket between 2 layers of neoprene.
Yeah, that's a good down, up, down.
And so the water goes down the top of the jacket into the tunnel, and you have little drain holes on the outer tunnel of the spray skirt, and it drains out against the deck of the boat.
Dude, that's the next thing, man. Let's make it happen.
We've made those on and off for years for people, and it's the best way to do it because you have it's basically dry deck dry with a 2-piece garment, and you get rid of the inner tunnel out of your dry top.
Damn.
And you could almost do like a thinner layer on the inside and a burlier layer on the outside. Like
There's many different ways to skin that cat, right? But you can picture it, and then all the blowout where your jacket's up around your armpits when you're play boating, that's all removed with double tunneled skirt because the water goes right up and then goes down the tunnel of your skirt and then out against the deck of your boat.
Yeah, nice, man.
You're so smart.
It's the future. Yep.
P.S. Props for the shows reach across the community, whether it counts as cultural improvement or degradation. It brings people together from coast to coast. So see, Lewis, there's positive stuff there. And are we going to do Noah or John Sue? We'll do one more.
John Sue's good, and then we need to dispatch the Werner conspiracy. I feel like we have to comment on that briefly.
Okay.
I have my own conspiracy theories, but I haven't read anything or talked to anybody about it.
Oh, we're going to get into that. Don't you worry.
Okay.
That's gold.
I'm
Are you
ready.
kidding?
This comes from John Sue. He says, it's a white sport. Hi, I'd like to address the issue of inclusion of people of color in whitewater. The topic was brought up on episode 77, part 2. I've been paddling whitewater for almost 25 years, and yes, it is a white sport. I can go in links as to why this is so and how to make the sport more inclusive, but the bottom line is getting to and from remote areas to kayak is the most dangerous part of the sport. Imagine Sam Davis was paddling with a black kayaker and there's no cell service, and the black kayaker frantically drives to some random house banging on the door asking for help. What are some realistic outcomes? Granted, I being the model minority, sarcasm if you know what that term refers to. I'm assuming that John is Asian here. My outcome would be different, but the past 4 years I've seriously considered keeping empty Chinese takeout containers in a bag as my excuse note when traveling in areas not so accepting Chinese food delivery. I think he meant that funny. My experience as an Asian paddler ranges from being mistaken for nori to being threatened, most recently in August at Sheets in Cumberland by a large white man riding a Harley with his biker Betty. Although most paddlers are accepting of people who may be different, look different, it's the societal glass boundaries that limit access to certain groups of people, Americans, which is much more difficult to change. Thoughts on that?
I think in my opinion, he hits the nail on the head in the sense that if you want a real example of the problem, if you're a black paddler trying to paddle in West Virginia, that'd be fucking scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the dudes you're on the river with. It's the dudes around the river.
There's more aspects to this, obviously, but that's a good one.
Thanks for that note, John. Last note here before we get into our 2020 predictions, and of course, everybody I'm sure has got a rant and rave ready to close us down. Okay, this comes from the chief himself. Should have sent this before.
So to set this up, we've talked about Werner having all sorts of production disruptions for the past year, right? And we try to get Werner to come on, and for whatever reason they haven't had a chance to do so to spell this, but it's been very difficult to get a Werner paddle, right?
Like impossible, huh?
Like impossible, which obviously us being us, we start assuming that Werner's going out of business. And so we speculate on this, but of course this guy decides just to write Bruce himself at Werner.
So Jason says he writes to Bruce, owner at Werner Paddles. Awesome dude. He gave me some great business advice early on about getting a line of credit every year. Anyway, he says, "Morning, Jason. Love the Middle King shots and also found more on the web of you and others enjoying the river. Stoked you are a Werner Paddles fan. Thanks. Rumors are usually just that, and in this case, probably far off base. Werner Paddles is alive and kicking. While we were shut down due to the virus and unsure of what business would be like after reopening, today we are manufacturing as fast as possible. In fact, we're hiring for our production team. Please spread that non-rumor. I'm approaching 60, so I've probably talked to some friends about what retirement might mean for me in the future. But as of today, business as usual, except COVID. Thanks for your concern about the future of our paddle company. Happy paddling, Bruce." So,
Evan, do you use a Werner paddle?
I have Gallisport, Lettman, Werner, HE.
What's your favorite paddle?
Oh man, probably of all time is probably
pick one.
Straight shaft Shogun. Like if I'm going to the Sakine or the Indus or like anywhere that I just feel like, all right, I need this paddle to fucking be there. Probably straight shaft Shogun.
it's hard to beat.
Yeah, it just has great feel. I trust it. Powerful. Like when Plan B, I always like have like a paddle. Like, man, if I'm getting my ass kicked, that paddle is like an amazing Plan B paddle. Like I love the Gallisport. The best feeling paddle is the Gallisport for sure. I get that thing and it's like a weapon. But then every once in a while, if I'm like offline or I'm going for some funky brace or like offside kind of roll thing, I don't have it. Like the paddle does something different. It doesn't have those big like flat power faces that you can just roll off of like nothing. So yeah, Werner Shogun. It's not my favorite feeling paddle. I'm not gonna like want to race with it or anything, but it's a paddle, man. Every paddle's a good one. As long as you're out on the river and it's not breaking.
I've used some pretty lousy paddles.
Yeah. Well, you guys with your like 60-degree offsets, man. Yeah, that's lousy right there, dude.
What's your length and offset, Evan?
I'm 230, 45 as well is fine. I was in DC just recently, and Aaron, man, let me use this crankshaft Lettman paddle, and it was 65 or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is just like the most awkward thing ever. And I can see like you have to twist so much that you actually engage your core a little bit more than you do on like a 30 degree. I can feel like you kind of just like paddle in open face. With that 60, you're like cranking so much, you're like engaging the core. I can see there's some power there, but it just fucking seems old school. I don't know. It just seems like, why have to like, why do that? It's just, yeah, I don't. But I know that you guys are offset. What do you paddle, Lewis? 55.
65.
65. Yeah. I mean, the DC boys, they like that. The river is, I guess, just too accessible and easy to get to, so they want to make something like.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm 30 degree, 202.30.
Yeah, it's like, God, if you're out there just trundling through the shit, just want to sit there and paddle like this. Give me that 30 degree. Go down.
Shauna Shade, she says, just making sure you will have 2021 journal. I've been enjoying them for the past 2 years. Thanks, Shauna. Shauna, that is in the works. Stay tuned. Lewis, how many days do you get this year?
I'm in the like 170s.
Damn, dude. I don't even want to tell you. It's a weak year for me. I don't even want to talk about it. How many days you paddle this year, Evan?
136, 7. Which is a weak year for me. That's real bad. When I have the Benny Marr calendar, and I was like, do. It's like good, looking good, And then like July, August, September roll around, and it's like 5 days that month. I was like, ooh, that's not.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone from like 6 or 7 days a week when the Little White's in to like 1 or 2 days a week now.
Yeah. In January, I had like 26 days, Which the whole thing is like, for me, when the Little White's in, I'm going to paddle like every day. But if it's not in, it's like, trust if it's good and high,
It's hard to stay stoked on the truss every day.
No, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. Yeah.
I can go like every other day max on the truss.
Maximum. The Little White is just like so fucking good, man.
Yeah, you can always have fun there every day.
You can always, yeah. And it's like, doing the green at like 20 inches and stuff, you get that feel for it, but the shuttle and the paddle out and all that stuff takes the energy of the green down a notch. Like the Little White is so fast, like door to door, 2 hours or less. No shit. There's no fucking around. You're just like out of the car, in the car, boom, 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 home. But like this fucking drought, man. Dude.
Check out that plant, dude. You see that plant?
I know. Damn plant. It just keeps reminding.
The plant's dead, dude. Maybe I should get a new plant.
Move to Canada, I think might be the answer.
Burn in that spot, man.
Or move to West Virginia, like Elkins. Something like that.
Okay.
Canaan Valley is, if I ever found myself living in DC again, getting a house in Canaan Valley would be like the top thing to do.
For sure.
Literally, the year I moved from West Virginia to here, West Virginia becomes the new Gorge.
Is real estate in Canaan Valley like going through the roof yet? Like Davis Thomas?
No. It is. It had been 12 years or 11 years since I'd been to those towns, Davis and shit, at the top of the North Fork. They were like popping, man. There was like cool art stores and coffee shops. Like I remember being there, and it was like
those come and go.
Ghost town last time I was there. It was like a mining town.
Yeah, there's like multiple breweries and a burrito place there now.
Yeah,
it's pretty happy.
It was definitely it's on the up and up for sure. But Todd Baker in Friendsville, he told me he bought his house. I don't even want to say it. Like, dude, you can't even buy a goddamn diesel truck in White Salmon for how much he bought that house for.
Yeah, in that area, you can buy like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for $85,000.
Yeah, it's just it's unbelievable. I was like I'm trying to like buy this piece of land 160, and I'm like, I went out east and I like talked to some people, and now I'm just discouraged from doing that, Just wait till it gets more expensive.
How much land does 160 grand get you?
20 by 20.
No, it's 2 acres. It depends on where you are. Like that's quite a ways out of town. That's 2 acres.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's scary.
All right, let's talk about the future of the sport.
All right. Our
get into it.
special section of the show here. Let's see. Including everything from the last show and this show, it took us 2 hours and 20 minutes to get to our 2020 predictions. So,
Holy hell. I got to get back to work. Let's get through this.
Nothing that important.
All right, well, let's get right to the top. Let's get straight to the top. And
Okay.
This is great. I'm going to throw this one to you, Evan. What will be the next trend in boat design? And I just got to back up because 3 or 4 years ago when we started this podcast and the BRAP came out, we said that is going to be the savior of whitewater. That design is going to be the savior. All the other manufacturers, this is going to be a new category, and it happened.
Definitely happened. Oh, yeah.
So now, here we are, escaping COVID 2021. What's the next trend in boat design, Evan?
I mean, take it a step further, man. Like, find a boat that does everything. Like the BRAP and, the Ripper and all those boats, they do some things better than creek boats, but, why not make a 7-foot kayak that can do everything, Figure that out. Like, figure out freaking a playboat that's a little longer, like, I don't know, Piranha in a zone or something, but figure out, like, the volume distribution to make it able to perform in real whitewater and surf. And, like, imagine go to Chile and you just have one boat and it does everything great. Like, you go to the Fuda, you surf big waves, you have fun doing big water, and you run waterfalls and steep creeks. I don't know if it's possible.
I mean, isn't that like the Steez?
No, the Steez is long. Steez is long. It's 9 feet.
You think that's too long, though?
I think 9 feet's too long. Well, I mean, the Steez is awesome. I love that kayak, but for everything, I think I want a little bit of a shorter boat. And, like, Dane's almost doing it with that new Antics, but I've talked to other people about that boat, and they're like, oh, I'm just not Dane Jackson. I can't fucking do everything, that Dane does. Obviously, you see a video of Dane in a kayak, you're like, oh, yeah, it's the best kayak ever made. Literally,
I wonder if we're going back to that era. Like, have you ever watched that movie? I'm sure Evan's watched this, Whitewater Gods, with, like, Damon and Russell and, like, maybe Matt Wilson's in it, running, like, the Moran in Peru, paddling, like, Dagger GTs, and, like, I think one of them's in, like, an Ultrafuge or something.
Yeah, playboat.
I mean, is it going to be like a stubby? Are we going back to, like, a tweaked stubby kind of style?
No, because it has to perform, man. It has to have, like, the pop, and it has to have, like, a super planing hull to be maneuverable and surf and loose. But, like, man, I think that, like, a hybrid version of the new kayak is gonna be it, because you want a boat that, like, dude, creeking is in. Like, class 5 river running is it now. Like, when I was growing up, it was surfing big waves, playboating, and now it's like, fuck, it's come. Like, it's class 5, and now high water, pushing that, and speed, and multiple laps, but then, you have Dane and a lot of the younger guys, like, there were kids in DC doing stuff on Great Falls that was so impressive. Little boats, back freewheels into big burly fucking holes and stuff. And I was like, that's the future, because that's what these kids are seeing, and that's what they're going to do, And the era of the GoPro, it's just going further and further and further, and, like, everything seems accessible, The only thing that's not accessible is experience, man. It's like you just have to go out there and grind it on the river for years to be a fucking master,
Anybody else?
So,
all right, so Evans is the one trick pony. Does that, not the one trick pony, that does everything pony.
Yeah, I think it's like a shorter version of what's being made that's going to be able to connect the dots.
Like something between, like, the Steez and the Antics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think what we're going to see, I never thought, this is a little bit different way to tackle this question, but if you asked me this, if I would say this like a year ago, I would have laughed. But I think we're going to see, this is the era of the small whitewater focused boat builders. Where 10 years ago, it was Dagger and Wave Sport and whoever were driving the ship in terms of boat design. But I think companies like Waka, the Josh from Veris was at our shop the other day talking about how well his business is doing.
Yeah.
If you look at like the Chili, that boat from Zet, Spade
Yeah.
Kayak, all these guys,
Totally.
smaller whitewater focused brands.
Yeah.
I think these guys have a shot like they've never had before. 10 years ago, the economics of sport were so bad that they didn't have a prayer. But something happened this year with COVID and everything else that all these guys just have a shot at making it. And you especially look at like Waka, they're driving the design. I mean, right now, if you're another company right now, especially if you're Dagger or something, you're like, just make a Waka, just do what Waka did.
Yeah.
If it's not just like
sure.
a Waka boat, it's
Yeah.
gonna fall short.
Yeah.
And so my question is like, where does Piranha fit into that? Right? Are they going to behave like a big boat company and take the most conservative route for the widest market, or are they going to try and push it like obviously I think Waka has and take a few risks like with the Steez, which I thought was a ridiculous idea, when they first announced it, but fucking
Yeah.
great boat. Everybody's
Yeah.
measured,
Totally.
So where's like Piranha going to fall into that? But I think small companies are going to be driving boat design, and you're going to see a lot of crazy ideas come out of that, and you're going to see some real
Yeah.
hits. Some
I
real
think the
game
important part of that is just like they have a small overhead, Like I know the
They're just
operation.
more in touch. They're just more in touch with what's going on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like Dave
definitely.
Pacelli may give advice to Piranha, right? And Piranha's a big company. They may or may not, and they have a lot of people to, a lot of decisions a lot of customers they have to take into account, and a lot of tooling and other expenses. They may or may not listen to what Dave has to say,
Totally. I think
But that's not
Piranha's
happening.
issue
That's not
is they
happening.
have too many kayaks. They have too many molds, man. They have too many molds. They're all great. They have too many molds, though. They need to like sort through the weeds, sizes. They just have like a lot going on. Fix those goddamn thigh hooks, and they have great boats though.
And why can't you carry a Piranha boat? Like honestly, there's nothing more painful. I mean, how has that
fucking
never
cockpit
been?
ramp, man.
That's 25 years I've been carrying Piranha boats around, and there's nothing
Yeah.
changed on the shoulder pain.
I don't know. I
Well,
like.
the skirt design, I mean, they need to do. I mean,
Yeah.
they're classically, Piranhas are the hardest boats to keep dry because of the rim design, right?
And keep your spray skirt on them
And
when
keep
you're
your
running
spray
big
skirts on.
waterfalls.
And,
Yeah.
and I've complained about this nonstop to Robert and anyone else who listen, and they're doing what they can. But I think they have a lot of money wrapped up in tooling for a thigh brace and a seat and all that stuff, and they're reluctant to spend a bunch of money to change it. And so you get the same basic shape out of them year after year. That's my understanding of it and the way it's explained to me. I'd love to have Robert come on and explain to me why I'm wrong, or someone from Piranha, but
Yeah, I mean every kayak has its like pros and cons, It's just I feel like I don't know, they just need to simplify a little bit. Jackson, like they nailed that. They simplified the fucking screws. There's no screws on a Jackson boat. They were the first one to do that. Why had nobody done that before? It's dry. And
Right.
now other kayak companies are bringing that. That was a score. That was a win for them, and they changed how kayaks are made. So I think you just need to figure out how to simplify the equation, and like you're gonna nail it. Want that shit as easy as possible
I think
for me.
I think as far as boats, I like the idea of the one boat do everything. I really like the idea of the one boat do everything. It's just so hard to do.
Yeah, for me it doesn't work, dude, because I am comfortable in what I know. Like if it gets real and the shit I want to do, like I want to be in a OG. I want to be in like an 8.5 foot creek boat with sufficient volume and rocker to like make me happy and feel safe out there. Like Dane is so good, it doesn't freaking matter. And he's so strong and he's so good at getting beat down that it doesn't matter. But that's what kids are seeing, and they're like, that's it. That's the shit. And these kids are like, they're doing it, man. They're like figuring out what he's doing, and that's the idol. That's the gold standard in whitewater right now is Dane, So like for me, when I went out east, I was like, I saw so much influence. His style influenced all those younger kids, and they were charging like Dane was, and I was like, well, there it is, right there. It's freaking happening.
Dude, there is a force of charging going on that
Yeah,
you feel it when you're on
Yeah,
the
it was-
river around here.
for sure.
I think like the Steez is going to be the prototype of what's going to come in terms of creek boats. Just a sportier,
Totally.
A sportier creek boat.
Yeah, it's more fun because it's just more dynamic. It does things that the creek boat with the big stern, you're safer, you're floating higher, but you don't get that like dynamic, loady, kind of like jumpy thing that the Steez does, and that's what makes like everyday Class 5 for me more fun now. Is because it's just more dynamic, you know.
I think you're going to see the Steez is going to be a lot like the Brap. It's going to start the wave.
Yeah.
I think squirt boating's going to blow up. Telling you.
It's good, man. I mean, some of the coolest dudes out there are doing it, and it's just, I don't know. For me, it feels like paragliding or something. It's just like so niche. You have to be like into that kind of area, you know. But I feel like if you are, you know, like Will Pruitt, he's kind of my buddy out here who's squirting. He just loves it. It's his favorite thing in the world, and his videos and photos and stories are awesome. They're really cool, and I think it's a really unique.
I don't feel it's like our sport. It's
not
a sport. It's a sport.
Yeah.
It involves a kayak and a paddle, but that's almost incidental.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I think it's going to blend the. I think Evan's right that, you know, the running the class, like the Burley 4s and running the Class 5 is it. That's going to be, you know, I think. But then I think there's going to be this group that just fully disconnects in that, and they're just totally fine geeking out on a seam. You know,
Yeah,
I think that.
definitely.
Well, that's always been the case.
No. What about lithium-ion technology in boats?
God, kill me. That's what I'm gonna start slashing tires.
Yeah. Totally. Getting all that.
I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. I mean, the e-bike thing, 3 or 4 years ago, when I started talking about e-bikes, people were like, whatever, e-bikes this, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, there could be some
No, you were
kind
saying
of
about e-bikes.
The
You're saying
problem with
about
that
one
is
wheels.
it's a wheel. The e-bike's a wheel, man. That's like, you know, the kayak, like, when you said lithium ion, I was like, heated paddle? Like, you know? Like,
Dude,
what
I'm
do you
talking
mean?
about like some kind of like propulsion device in your OG that you could
send you
engage
rocketing
when
off
you
the S-turn.
needed to, like, you know, it could like boost you up to like, you know, 10 miles an hour over the course of like, you know, a 30-second like period, and it was just like engaged right below your ass. You just pulled it in, pulled it out. It was like a molded in thing.
Or it just makes your little light run down to like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, like,
E-assist,
I mean,
dude. Just
for me,
envision
that's
it.
what I need on the Indus, man. That's what I need on the Indus.
Yeah.
You're still
Just
like a
lining
chicken,
up
chicken
top.
wing. Just trying to rudder as you go down.
Just motorboat into those holes, man.
I'm
I-
just saying,
I'm
just
just like-
think about
I'm
getting
like-
a roost off of a wave in a kayak like that. You know, it's not a jet ski, but
Yeah.
it's got some of that in it.
The thing
I'm just whinging because I think you're right. Like I think you're probably right. Like it's gonna fucking come.
Oh, it's gonna be so sick.
I'm gonna be miserable,
I'm gonna add
man.
that
That's what
class.
really
I'm
leaving.
adding that class next year to the green race, the e-assist
I'm moving
class.
to Canada.
so class. It doesn't really. I mean, you could do the pools, those little pools, which I think.
You got to run whitewater with the e-assist, right? That's where it really shines.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm telling you, I may patent this shit.
Like you
I may
land
just-
like
I may just
halfway
have to
down the
take
second,
this.
drop an S-turn. You know?
But the sexy part of kayaking for me right now is like using the river to give you energy, you know? And that's what the new designs are doing better than ever, is like you can read the river differently, and you can like
Pop
you know,
an
once
edge
you're
and-
into one of those seizes or something, yeah, you tapping into these seams and curlers, and the river's like giving you these like micro like energy boosts. And like that for me, as I'm kayaking downstream on any river now, that's like every move I'm looking for is one of those moves. I'm just looking for like the energy
That's-
that the river can just, and that's where like
That's-
whitewater for me is like,
No, you're
That's-
right. You're right.
That's like exactly how I describe the waka boats. Like when I talk to guys who are like kind of getting back into the sport or been paddling older boats, and I'm like, you know, like when we were younger or like racing, it's like you're looking at the river and you're looking at the things that are going to slow you down and trying to avoid them. And like in these new boats, it's like you're just looking for the things that are going to speed you up and trying to hit them. You know, it's just like how do you come out of that drop with speed? How do you bounce off that curler? It's like all these little features that like generate speed.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when you're playing like Mario Kart or something, and you like run over the little thing that like gives you a boost.
Yeah.
And
And like it's
Sick.
funny when I go to Chile and I have to use a different boat if there's not a boat available. I remember using a Nomad one day on the Puesco, like an old Nomad, which for a long time was like the gold standard of creek boats. And it's still a great boat, but every time I would try to go for one of those new school like curler moves, I would land on it and it would just feel like mush. I would just like I would just sink into it, you know? And you'd get no speed out. You'd come out just fine, you'd boofing just fine, but you don't have that dynamic like that speed, which I mean all the new boats are doing it, you know? They're all turning into this planing whole flat, you know? And that's what gives you that like boom.
That was the big thing I noticed about. I haven't paddled a Steez, but that was the big thing I noticed about jumping in the rewind and getting out of the brap, was just that hit that seam or hit that curler and just be able to bank an edge, and you're just
and you're just, accelerating. That's the best, man. And that's why like if you have a battery and you have like some other alternative energy source, it just loses the magic for me. Like I'm not into engines. I'm not into motors. I'm not into that stuff. Like, it's the same reason why I would never get like a power paramotor, like the big fan on it. It's like the cool part about paragliding is that you're tapping into like this natural force that only works on a certain day, you know? And it's like this black magic that's just rising from the earth, and you find it. It's invisible. You find it and then you use it, you know? And that's what I like in kayaking now. For me, same deal. It's like somebody sees this raging river and they're just like, they see complete chaos, and like you see this like magic little sequence of things you can do to make like this amazing feeling line happen, you know? And that's
Dude, I hear you and I agree with you, but the points where you can add like traction, like you get that, you know, like a jet ski cavitation, but then it bites and whatever, and you're like looking for features where you can get the bites, and I mean, you know, whatever. I'm just
at that point you don't need whitewater though. You can do that on flat water, dude.
No,
it's like the guys on snowmobiles that are just brapping fields of powder, carving on a field, and they're like, it's the most amazing feeling ever. I'm like, well, you're just on this giant fucking machine, like bouncing around this field. You know, it's like snow cones, you know, because they're just like, oh. And I'm like, what happened to that sexiness of just like that floaty pow feeling of skiing, you know? And all the homies are getting these snowmobiles and they're forgetting about skiing because it takes more energy. It takes more time. Kind of goes back to being like a purist, you know? Like, who's going to be the one that just like bolts El Cap and puts a fucking E-winch on that thing, and it's like, oh, let's go climb El Cap.
Dude, that'll be me, man. Just fucking running, keeping up with the wind. All right, moving on. So it's squirt boating. It's a boat that can do it all, and e-technology. That's what we've said so far. What else have we got on here? Okay, here's one. Let's throw this over to Lewis. What's the next mission going to be? You know, so we went Stikine California, Stikine, BC, Quebec, Indus. What's the next spot?
Cool. I think we should kick this one to Evan.
I got a good one.
Yeah, well,
Torngats, baby.
The Torngats don't have.
Come on, I see some pictures.
You don't think they got the water? I don't think they have the watershed, like the volume.
I see some pictures that are pretty fucking spicy.
Dang.
Torngats
like that's where like Stewksbury did that one trip with Benny and Pedro.
Northern Quebec.
What did they say about it?
Well, they did one river and it was sick. It was like this open tundra, like 20 fall sequence that took them like a few days to run all these big waterfalls, and it looked really sick for sure. But
it's a mountain range that goes sort of runs south to north. That's off the mainland. It's on the mainland across from Newfoundland, basically.
Yeah, that's where they were for sure. It looks, that place is epic, definitely. I think weather is like really hard to hit. Like they were trying to fly into stuff they couldn't fly. There's too much weather and wind, so they ended up paddling for like many fucking days to get to this one river. Classic Stewksbury, you know, just amazing, just above. It's above the norm. But the river looked good. Whitewater was good. I think it's all Asia, man. Either northern South America or Asia.
Like
I don't know.
Colombia, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think Venezuela. I mean, imagine all the stuff there that hasn't been done and can't be done right now. Like the one that Lane took Stooksbury and Jules to, it's on the border. It literally is on the border. The takeout is like the border of Colombia and Venezuela. And that river just just looked so classy and so beautiful and like just had the right ingredients for a perfect expedition, you know? And I was looking at maps and I was just like, well, there's just like a bunch more of those fucking things just in Venezuela.
Huge plateau.
Huge plateau. For me, the jungle's like, I lean more towards Asia. I'm not made for the jungle. I'm like too just pale and like soft for the jungle. I feel like I could deal with cold and like rugged kind of windy terrain, but like the jungle, moist bugs, snakes, fucking parasites, that's not my style, man.
Leeches. Don't forget the leeches.
Yeah. And I have a lot of respect for those dudes down there who are doing it, but it ain't gonna be me, that's for sure.
When do you think we're going to start seeing glacial retreat and big bedrock rapids and things like that get exposed? That people
Like
It's
Greenland?
happening.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Like the top of Clendenning, there was that shot of Noria running that, big, beautiful slide into Clendenning Lake that had never been there before.
I looked at that shot and I pulled out my pictures from going to Clendenning and like, I don't know, probably would have been 2008 or 2009.
Yeah.
And I mean, that thing's pulled back like a mile. I mean, it was all the way down to the lake when we were there.
God, yeah. I'm really interested to see what Boomer was doing up in like the Arctic Circle this year in Greenland and stuff. He was doing some other Boomer-like things, and I think they got into some shit, But yeah, those places, I'm sure Greenland had some big. Canada's got a lot left, Like when I did the Hamathco the other year, and I cruised past the Trifluence there in Moseley, and I was like thinking about your guys' trip on Moseley, and I was like, fuck, nobody's been back in that area. I mean, I guess they're chipping off one coastal run a year now, like Sandy and the BC crew. But there's so much out there.
So much, dude.
Fucking water out there, and so
much.
little access,
There ain't no COVID out there.
And there's just spirit bears, just big ass white bears out there.
All right, well, how about... All right, well, I'm going to throw this one over to you. How will the business landscape change? What companies will rise to the top? What will maybe lose some of their footing? How do you see that playing out?
Well, Evan, how'd your old man do this year, business-wise?
Oh, so good, man. So good.
Right?
Yeah, it's the best year ever. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of retailers. There's a lot of retailers who got hammered. And I'm talking about paddle sports and outdoor retailers in general got hammered this year, but there is a lot who had their best year ever. And these are guys who have been in business 20, 30 plus years.
Yeah. But the problem is now I was just home and I was talking with him, and he's saying there is a huge shortage of like ability to pre-order for this next year. Because production.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you make stuff in Asia, you know, you have a serious supply chain problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally. And I think that's like, a majority of stuff is happening like that. But hopefully, I mean, nobody could have seen it, hindsight, fuck, But everybody saw this shit and they just put their tail between their legs and were like, all right, hopefully we survive this. And then all of a sudden the outdoors became cool, it became cool to be outside again. And then everything sold,
Yeah.
Well, what's the story? Is it like what is the cause of all the supply chain disruptions? Is it like facilities in Asia that just can't manufacture at full capacity because of people being sick, or because
it's two things? What is the factory shut down for months at a time this spring? A lot of Asia's in much better shape than we are right now, so that is improving. But all these manufacturers are ordering 2, 3, 4 times as much goods as they've ever ordered before.
Got it.
Right. So I mean, these people are slammed.
Yeah.
So I think in general, I'm hoping, that when I grew up in the 70s and 80s, we just had Americans had a different relationship with the outdoors, right? Like families just canoed and hiked and fished, and Deliverance was a big movie, and these things were just part of like the American activity. It wasn't like extreme or anything like that. You just did stuff in the outdoors. And we all thought that was gone forever. It could be that we're re-entering that era again in America where people just have a different relationship towards outdoors. They certainly invested in it this year, right? Yeah. I mean, your typical American bought way, way more hiking and camping and fishing and paddling gear than they ever have. And it could be that we're re-entering a golden era of paddle sports, right? And if people make money, it's good for everybody, and it's good for retailers. I mean, manufacturers 10, 15 years ago, as the internet started to take off and retailers began to downscale their paddle sports industries, manufacturers like, fuck it, we're going to stick our hand in the honey pot and sell direct, and it's going to be the answer to all problems. But it's not. It's a lot of work. It has not been that profitable for most manufacturers to really push direct sales. And it turns out the retail experience is the best way to buy a piece of outdoor gear, right? If you can go and try a couple different boats, try a couple different dry suits, try a couple of spray skirts, and pick the one that's right for you, have a good staff there, that's the best way to buy this stuff, right? And if there's money in it, and if we can charge more for kayaks, like I've been talking about for years, and retailers can make a 40% margin or more on a kayak, it's going to be a much different, much better landscape for our industry. It's going to look a lot more like the bike industry,
Yeah.
So would you say the most successful companies in the coming year are going to be the ones who can actually build their products and get them out on time?
Well, the ones that survive, like we had a tumultuous couple of years, right? So it looks like Stolquist is no longer making dryware. I think, I don't know this to be 100% sure, but I've heard enough. I'm pretty sure it's true. Like Snapdragon's no longer making spray skirts. Sweet obviously not making dryware.
Yep.
I'm going to bet that Dagger's going to be downsizing their paddle sports industries. You know what I mean? Or whitewater brand. I think the ones that are left, we're in good shape. I think we're right size now for the size of the market, right?
Totally.
It's just now that I think the challenge for us is going to be on the supply side, right? Is to make sure that we're forecasting enough and blocking production time in our factories 2 years or 18 months ahead of time to make the stuff for these stores that need it so badly and our customers that need it so badly. And so it's really going to be a matter of supply chain management, just staying on top of that. And to be fair, once again, if retailers are active in this process where they're writing meaningful pre-seasons and really working with the manufacturers to predict how much stuff they're going to need for the upcoming year, that's going to be the way this battle is going to be won. So,
Evan, can you get boats?
Yeah.
So you can put it in an order and the boys.
Yeah, I think I'm first up for this. We got some. Wait, when are you guys going to put this episode out?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm first in line for the next order, and we're able to make them. And they're made in the Dragorossi. It's called Eurotank. It's a big plastic factory, And so
it's located in Italy.
Milan, yeah.
Are they? I mean, they must be under serious constraints right now with COVID.
For sure, but they were like one of the first places to get it and get it bad, and it seems like they got their shit together. This guy who runs the factory, his name's Diego. I talk to him quite frequently, and like he's optimistic for sure. So,
sick.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw you tempted to break some news there, man. Should we twist your arm a little bit?
Yeah, we have some new boats coming out. And then I'm like, okay, I'll try to get myself to the front of that line, because there's other people that want them. Obviously, there's other countries and distributors that want them. But I got a good relationship with old Kenny.
What do you got?
New boats?
What do you got? What's it going to look like? Is this going to be your 8-foot do-it-all, or is this coming out? We need names, we need sizes, and we need colors.
It's a C1, isn't it?
Squirt boat?
Comes with a wooden paddle. No, I can't, man. I can't. It's part of my. I wish I could. If it was like, nah, it was not my shit, dude. I'm just a salesman over here, dude.
You still have Steezes left?
I do have some Steezes. Yep.
Yeah. You
I got some OGs. I got some Steezes, and that's it for now. Yep. And I guess I should say this. They will not be replacing OG or Steez. They are different boats than those. So let the imagination run wild.
Maybe we'll talk off the air.
So OG
I'll
and
try to
Steez.
plan accordingly.
OG and Steez are staying in the lineup, so this is a new category for Waka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, size category. Yeah, a little mixture of both. They look really good, man. Really good, and I'm just like totally. I mean, let's knock on wood here, but I'm just so impressed with that dude's ability to.
Who, Kenny?
To work, yeah, to work and how he does it. He's like a bad fucking scientist over there, dude. He just does his thing in his garage at the putting of the Kaituna, and like I don't hear from him for like a month, and then all of a sudden it's just like this shit comes my way, and I'm like, whoa, this looks interesting, and then I try it, and I'm like, oh, it's amazing, you know, and it doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, why is nobody else doing that? Like, the ingredients are there, man. Just put them in the fucking bowl and bake it, you know?
It's like they're like boats from the future, man. I mean, it's like how long did it take? How long was the tuna out before we like figured out how good it was? And like it's like almost you had to like learn how to paddle it a new way or like think about it a new way. And it's like some of the boats, it's like you almost don't even like them when they come out, and then you got to like see like Andy Old make it sing or something, and then you're like, oh, I see now.
That was how I was that way with the Steez. I liked it immediately. I was just like, fuck, I couldn't get it to do its thing. And it just took me like a month. And then I was like, holy crap. It was just like this key, you know? And I personally like the puffy one more.
Me too.
It doesn't load up as much, and it just allows me to do those snappy moves better. So I like that. And that's like my style. Like I said, I'm not one of those people. I don't like small boats. So I don't know if my idea of that like one boat do it all is going to work for me. But for the future, for like the generation that is coming next, I feel like that's going to be their ship, you know?
Well, Weld, I agree with pretty much everything you said there in the comments, but I will say one thing. I feel like this Pelican acquisition for Dagger is a good thing. I'm seeing more energy in that crew than I've seen in probably 2 or 3 years.
In what crew?
In just the Dagger crew. Just like the people who are working on designs and whatever, it's like they're kind of excited again. And you talk about like right sizing the business. I feel like this acquisition allowed them to like cut some fat. They've kind of right sized their whitewater division a little bit.
Is Snowy still designing boats for him, or do they have a new?
No,
someone new.
He's there. He's still working on it, and it seems to be going well.
They got some buns in the oven over there. I've seen some protos hanging around.
I mean, my opinion of Dagger is based on Snowy. Like, I feel like Snowy is the one that's driving that design ship.
One thing I didn't say when we were talking about like the manufacturing and the boom of outdoor sales, like in the bike world, they flooded the freaking market with so many bikes this year. Like, that's 10 times more bikes than have ever been on the market before, going into people's hands that maybe aren't sure about it. So there are going to be more used bikes on the market. They don't go out as fast as a kayak does. So do you think biking will see like a drop because do you buy a bike every year?
I buy a bike every couple of years.
Yeah,
I feel like
and then what happens to the graveyards of these metal frames that don't go bad, you know?
Pink bike.
I don't know, dude. I just think that
Yeah,
everything that has to do with going outside, from buying climbing shoes to biking to kayaking to whatever, is going to ride this wave for the next 4 or 5 years until.
Dude, I know it doesn't seem like it's going.
Concerts comes back or something, you know.
I was optimistic, and it doesn't seem like my optimism's gonna play out with this whole fucking quarantine COVID shit. I feel like we're just getting into it again, you know?
But are you guys ready for? Imagine a world where kayaking is 5 times bigger than it is right now. So you have 5 times as many people in the Little White as you have right now.
Take your peanut butter jar.
Is that? I mean,
everybody's gonna be shitting in peanut butter.
That would be great for the business side of things, but from the personal experience, are you guys ready for that?
No, it's existential suicide. It's like.
But it could happen, right?
It's just like.
I mean, that's what we all want. That's what's going to keep us. You know, you want these 20-pound indestructible plastic boats, that's what's going to
Yeah,
take.
Lewis
Kind of
is like-
full
he's
participation.
like,
I'd
I love
rather
it.
paddle my OG
I don't want-
in
I don't want-
perpetuity by myself.
That's when you're gonna have to move like to somewhere else, you know? Because if there's 10 more
Terrace or
people.
Cochrane.
Yeah, Terrace, Cochrane. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what if the Little White had like 150 people? Like it looked like the Upper Yak on a Saturday.
I mean, it's unsustainable just because of the place that it's in. Like Upper Yak has that giant new parking lot.
Well, it hasn't always been that way, and there was
Yeah.
there was a lot of gunslinging around in the early days about people putting on that river.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, AW
have to
finally had to
change.
step in and build that parking lot up there.
And dude, I mean, it's selfish for us to be like, nobody else should come to the Little White because it's the greatest thing ever. But it also is like, it'll lose some of its soul. Like, I think that's like how every amazing place has been. Like Yosemite, it's like, I mean, I guess it contains some of its original soul because it's a national fucking park and they won't let people stay in there and just, rat out the place. But like all the cool hot spots that were once like secret and amazing are blown out, or getting that way. And the coronavirus made it freaking worse, man. When we were going up to the Cispus this year, and any cool place that was out and about, like it was full. It was full. You did not have the same vibe that you're out there, There were people everywhere, people that didn't belong there, and it took the experience down a few notches for sure. This summer was hard to even bringing the wife out to get just out in the country, out in the boonies, and it wasn't the same. It wasn't as nice for sure.
That's gonna be the yin to the yang of all this, balancing that out. All right, Lewis, let's turn this over to you. What are going to be the biggest environmental policy wins and losses for 2021?
Man, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just going to be the new administration. Like, there's so much that President-elect Biden can do unilaterally to, set these public lands agencies back on the right track, right? I mean, it's like the last 4 years have been about, this energy dominance agenda at the Department of Interior, where it's about just leasing off public lands for oil and gas development as rapidly as possible, about rolling back regulation, and there's just so much that the Biden administration is going to be able to do, starting immediately to rectify all that. So I mean, that's just undoing the damage of the last 4 years is going to be huge, and I think having an administration that's ready to take climate change seriously is, that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be enough with a divided Congress because, I mean, I guess to get to the flip side of this, what are the biggest losses? I mean, I think the biggest loss is just going to be time, as long as there's, as long as Mitch McConnell is running the Senate, there's not going to be serious climate change legislation. And, if we lose 4 years, another 4 years in taking serious action on climate change, I mean, every minute pretty much counts at this point. It's like, things are turning rapidly, but, there's a lot that Biden will be able to do on his own. I hope that he's, serious and aggressive about it. I mean, I think it's been cool that if, consistently talked about 4 things they want to do, like, deal with COVID, deal with the economic fallout of COVID, racial justice, and climate. And like, those are the 4 things. And I think it's cool that they're talking about, economic recovery from quote COVID in the context of addressing climate, like recognizing that those things are intertwined and that having, a big government spending component in all of this is like, there's an opportunity to put people to work in a way that's meaningful for addressing climate change. So I think, I guess that's not like a super concrete answer, but I think just undoing damage and taking climate change seriously are going to be the big wins.
It's weird to I mean, I guess we're so out amongst it and just have been doing this for so long and seeing glaciers go away, and you're just like, oh, climate's changing. You know, that used to be different.
It's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
but
I mean, you're
people
not
just
meant
don't
to, like,
believe
these
that.
things are meant to, it's like this stuff's meant to change over the course of like geological time, right? It's like there's meant to be changes that play out over like 10,000 years, not 10 years. You know, it's like I'm not supposed to be able to look back and be like, oh yeah, we used to get a lot more rain here back in the day. Like, that's crazy.
Look at your plant, bro.
Yeah. Fucking plant.
It's so
Let me
much
get a plastic
symbolic.
plant.
That plant is so symbolic to everything Hood River at this point.
Let me see.
Let's see. All right. We got a few more minutes here. Okay, so
Rain.
which one of our what do we got there?
There's some rain coming. There's some rain coming. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Rain.
Yeah, we got like an inch and a half coming tonight. So
I know. Fuck off. If it rained once like that, like it rained when I was in DC, if it rained one time like that, the Little White would like come back.
dude, it's been raining like that for 3 years. I'm not kidding you. 3 years. I mean, I know the switch is gonna flip at some point. I don't even.
When
wanna
we
talk
left
about
West Virginia, we were like, we have to get out of the rain. We just wanted it. We just wanted seriously like a week without rain in our lives. That's how it was when we left.
You got
Well, rain drought.
Right?
All right,
welcome.
let's talk let's talk COVID here.
welcome.
Let's make some COVID guesses.
Oh, here we go.
Out of the four of us, who's gonna? All right, let's just throw this one out there. Who's gonna get the vaccine?
Oh, totally.
Not me.
What?
Dude, I'm with
nuts.
Evan. I'm not getting. I mean, I may after like a
Bunch of flat
year.
earthers, man.
I'll
Like they
fucking-
say, the
I'll
Earth is
French
curved,
kiss-
but
I'll
who knows
French
that?
kiss a woman with coronavirus before I get that coronavirus.
Oh, you are fucking nuts.
Nah,
Dude, I'm with Evan here. There's some like serious. I mean, this has
Dude,
never
you
been done
can't-
before. This is
it's
this
too
is
rushed,
like
dude.
this has
I
never been
believe
done
in
before.
science too. I believe in science. Like
No,
I'm
you
a
don't.
I'm a science believer, but I don't think that vaccinating me for this virus is the right answer.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Shoot me up for all of it.
Oh my god.
We gotta edit this
Jesus.
out. You guys are gonna be
Seriously.
That's
Hey, let
okay.
the hate mail roll in.
camera factor.
Yeah.
It's not the hate
spreading
mail. It's just
vaccine
like
euphorism.
we have to get some percentage of this country vaccinated.
Yeah, there will be. And there will be. Like right here, we got 50-50 split, you know?
Exactly.
That's not enough.
Yeah, there'll be more. I think there'll be more than enough.
There has
That-
never been an mRNA vaccine. The injection is going to be self-replicating mRNA that is going to go in your cells. This has never
All
been
right.
done. Never
All
the
right,
shit,
been
the shit is
done.
creepy.
Nice.
Shit is creepy.
It's
like, if you think
genetically
about it-
modified.
Yeah, no, it's creepy. It's creepy.
I don't
If you
care
think about
it's
it-
all of it.
It's not like an inoculated virus or something to create some response. This is like gene therapy and a needle.
You look a lot like Trump when you do that.
Whatever. Each their own. All right. I feel like we're about done.
The only way they're gonna get me anywhere close to that thinking about that needle is if they tell me I can't travel without it. And
They're gonna
That's
tell you
coming.
that,
That's
but I'm
coming
gonna
down the
fucking
pipe,
punch you
dude.
down with like a rhino dart and shoot you in the ass as you're running down
Yeah.
the road.
Ace Ventura style.
Weld, are you gonna take your kids to go get it?
Hell yeah. I will do whatever the medical experts say, not Dr. Grace and Dr. Garcia over here.
I know, but don't you think that there's just some fucking twisty stuff going on in there? I don't know, man.
I'm just saying, anything
You know,
anything in
you
life, when you make something completely new that's never been done before, and then you try to manufacture it and scale it up to billions of people and whatever, weird shit happens. It doesn't matter what it
How bad
is.
can it be?
And dude, I mean, okay, no, that's too dark. I can't go there. Okay. Let's not get political with Evan Garcia. I'm probably the least educated and least.
Thank
Nobody
you.
should take my advice.
There we go. That's all I'm saying.
I think from the gut. And I think, like, dude, Yeah, straight up. Give me coronavirus before I take that shot, for sure.
Yeah.
What
And
you
if I
guys think on 5G, right?
No, 5G is
I'm
fine,
fine with
dude.
5G.
No, no, no.
Dude,
I'm not
5G's
doing
out there
that.
everywhere.
I'm
If you're
not
worried
wearing
about
tinfoil.
coronavirus, you should like start wrapping your testicles in tinfoil or something
Oh
to
my
keep 5G out
God,
of it.
dude.
It's different.
One of them's
It's
a radio
different.
signal. One of them is self-replicating genes they're putting in your body. I mean, come on. It's self-replicating. It gets in there, and it's like, oh, let's make some more. I'm like, that's just a weird...
Can we move on? This is the most absurd discussion we've ever had in the Hammer Factor.
Dude, you guys gotta get Pat on, man. Come on, dude. Dude, you guys would rise the charts, dude. The charts. You guys would start to see that shit, man. Fuck. I mean, but you can't. You can't. The thing about a good host or hosts, you gotta be like Joe Rogan. You gotta be able to fucking bounce on that scale of like. Just you have to come with your opinion, you have to come with your side, but you can't overpower, man. That's the problem with America right now. There's just too much of that, like, I'm not getting the vaccination. Oh, but we are. You're a dumbass for not getting it. I'm not calling you a dumbass.
We
for
just
getting
got
it.
that,
I have
Evan. We just got that. We just got that.
Yeah, like I said the other day, what Isaac Asimov said, basically the tragic flaw of democracy, I'm paraphrasing, is that people are under the impression that their ignorance is every bit as good as your knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And the fact is people out there have a tremendous amount of knowledge about this stuff. And as people have no knowledge about this stuff, they're like, well, I don't give a fuck what the knowledge says. I have my opinion. And that's all that matters.
Look,
right?
Dude,
Look, let me just...
knowledge is power, and the power is money, and the money is fucking corrupt, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just
Okay,
say this. Let me
that's
just say
it,
this.
that's it.
One last statement
Done.
before we move on to this.
Straight
Okay.
switch into my
By
eye.
the time I'm gonna be able to get this vaccine, cold and flu season is gonna be over. So I'm just gonna let it see what happens all summer long and whatever. And if it looks good going into
Well,
cold
you won't.
season
You're
next
so low
year.
on the line. You're not going to get a vaccine until the midsummer anyway. So.
Yeah, I just may wait till.
You got strong lungs, dude. Grace runs those big marathon-y things. Yeah, dude, your lungs is iron.
Anyway.
It's not what happens to Grace. It's what happens to the 50 people around him that he infects. It's in the fucking emergency room.
Anyway, moving on. Come on.
Yeah.
You know.
I know that is a black pit right there.
Oh,
That is
God.
a dark place.
Where did we just go? I'm gonna blame that on Evan. That's you brought that to the show, Evan, not me.
I know.
Not
Sorry.
me.
So back to Little White. And,
Right.
Oh man, I feel like we're about to the end of our list. Does anybody want any other topics or any other predictions? I mean, I can dig into my crystal ball and tell you anything you need to know. Is that plant going to come back to life behind Lewis?
somebody water that fucking thing.
Evan, how are all of these boat companies from overseas, like you guys and Spade and Zet and who am I missing? All these up and coming brands. How are they going to make impact in the U.S. market? Like, what's the strategy sales wise? Retailers, no retailers, your model. Like, what's the advice out there?
I have no idea what the Longs are doing with Zet. I think they're doing kind of direct sales like I am. Kaleva out in DC, they just got a whole container and they sold to some retail stores. They sold to like Ace and a few different spots. So, and that's up to them. Like for sure.
There's no margin in it. That's a favor. That's just a favor.
Yeah.
Ace is just getting some eye candy there.
And Kaleva as well. They're a big company. They have so much going on. I was just out there. They've got this incredible farm. They've got all this shit happening. So I think for them, it's kind of a status thing as well. You know, they want to be a player in that, and they want to have, it brings some traction and it brings people in. It gets their name out, which is fine. They don't need to make money. For me, it's like my bread and butter. Like every dollar counts. It's like, from the moment I started selling wakas, pretty much I stopped trying to make money being a professional kayaker, because that was hard, and it was that's kind of not even happening anymore for maybe anybody but 20 people out there. So for me, it's important to make money and to do things the way they've been, and I can always be better. I drop the ball sometimes, and it definitely I need to keep getting better at my job. Sorry for anybody listening who I'm disappointed. I don't mean to. I'm a one-man show. I try my best. I try to keep it real. I try to take all the money that I make and just.
But
keep
see,
doing
this is what Whitewater needs.
But Waka doesn't have a growth strategy, though. You know what I mean? Their growth in America is going to be pinned to your interest in going kiting one day. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like you keep the people stoked. You keep, like, I need to be happy. I'm not going to be happy by going to do the middle white salmon every day. Like, I need to go out and get that class 5 sky crack addiction. I need to tap into that. And like, we'll have days in the summer where it's fully class 5 plus. I'm flying for 7 hours here. And if I was still a kayaker, I'd be like complaining about doing the middle white salmon, So that keeps me happy. And then after a month of only kayaking 4 times, I'm like, fuck, I need to go kayaking, And like, the biggest thing for me is if I'm gonna do this kayak thing and I'm gonna sell kayaks, and I'm gonna keep that as an integral part of my life. I feel like for me, as soon as kayaking, if it ever slides off my radar, or if I'm just like not doing it anymore, I don't feel like my job at Waka I don't feel like it'll work anymore. Like, I feel like me being tied to the whitewater community and scene and that passion and love, like, that's the only way for me that selling Waka kayaks.
But get back to my original question, like, how's Waka going to sell 5,000 units in the U.S. a year?
I mean, yeah, no, for sure.
Because they could right now. I think they probably could if they...
Yeah, maybe. You never know, though. It's like we've talked about trying to bring a bunch of kayaks in and do these tours and stuff, but like, that's the thing. You get in deep water, you oversaturate the market, you start to have more overhead, you start to be a little bit more strung out on your production and your inventory, and it's like, I just think that right now we have something going and it's working. It's working for the company, it's working for me. The players in the company are being taken care of, and we're not feeling stretched out, Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. And I think that that's the problem with Dagger, with the big brands, that we're like, we have our own factory, we have our own plastic molding factory. And it's like, fuck, well, that's a huge thing. You need to take care of all those employees. You need to and then imagine coronavirus hits and you're, all of a sudden you're fucking closed, Like, for us, shit didn't really change. We're such a small little company. My life didn't change that much. I'm a hermit, dude. I fucking spend all my, you're seeing it, dude. I'm here in the house, in my office. This is like my house. This is everything. And I go kayaking with like the same 4 people, 5 people all the time. Like, my life didn't change that much. And I'm super lucky to say that. And I guess it's just fucking dumb luck with the industry. People bought kayaks this year, and yeah, grateful for that, man.
When you having some kids,
greedy. It's Evan's advice, I guess.
Yeah, don't get greedy. It's like, well, it's a balance. There's a line. It's like, you go too big, you try to go too big. Oh, I could make more. You could make more money. There could be more growth. But then that adds up, and it's not only the workload. It's like, it just adds up on everybody, and I think that's where you're gonna make money. That's where you're gonna I'm not trying to make buckets of money. I'm trying to save some money, live good, eat organic food, basically. Have enough money to go kayaking, pay my rent, eat organic food, put a little money in the bank. That's it. For right now, if I want to be a rich man, I ain't.
You gotta get into oil or finance or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Start hustling. We got a little off topic there. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right, Evan. We may have to bring you back, dude. I like where you're going. We've got the same opinion on some things here.
Savvy.
I need somebody to balance me out here with these two guys.
I know. Smart people over here, always thinking they're right.
Exactly.
Always using their books and things and knowledge.
It's been like that for like 76 episodes of the Hammer Factor, Evan. You have no idea what I've been living through. All right, everybody, welcome to your favorite part of the show. This is where your hosts go on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave about something they're all fired up about or something they're poo-pooing. Who would like to start with a rant or a rave? This has kind of put you on the spot, Evan, so let's go ahead and throw it right to you. Would you like to rant or rave about anything?
Oh man, I'm gonna rave about just like the good vibes that I had out on the East Coast, man. It was so nice. It was refreshing to just be around a new community, new rivers, young like youth in the sport. It was just refreshing, man, and it got me so fired up. And it's funny because like I'll take some time off of whitewater, but I just have that burning fucking love for it. And like when I got around those young kids, like it just came out, I just like was so in love with kayaking out there. And it was like the kids saw it. They were like, dude, how is this guy so fucking fired up on kayaking? Like Jeremy Nash, he asked me like, dude, how have you not burned out? And I'm like, I have no idea, man. Like, but what you guys are doing out here, like this is how I haven't burned out. Cause I've seen like more kids come. I've seen people go, like I remember like an old LVM, you were like the gangster or the watcher, like the Dr. Dre song. And that was like, I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, I seen him come, I watched him go. And like, that's how I kind of felt out there. And it was cool. I just like, it was all love, dude. It was good energy.
Sick. I love that. Lewis?
So thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Dude, we loved having you. You know how excited it was when you sent me that email and you were coming out. You said, man, thanks for putting this on. We needed this shit. Like, I was like, fucking thank God somebody recognizes what's going on,
Oh, yeah. Dude.
That felt good.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to rave also. I know Evan was slagging on the low water middles, not without cause. But I'm gonna rave about this workout we've been doing.
I've heard. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Dude, I'm gonna get this going here. I love this.
So back when we were kids in DC, we do this workout on the canal with Andy Bridge with like lead this charge, and it was like I don't know, like a 25-minute section or something. And every week you'd seed it in the like exact timed order reversed that you finished the time the week before. So like if Evan beat me by 15 seconds last week, he starts 15 seconds behind me this week. And so basically the goal is you set up like the mass finish. So everybody starts spaced out. And so we're shooting for like the mass finish at Hewsome, like everybody like taking strokes off each other's chest when we like come over Hewsome. Yes. After like 35 minutes of grinding. And it's like, it's so motivating, just like trying to run down the person in front of you, knowing that there's somebody right on your heels right behind you who's like theoretically gonna get you right at the end. And it's like, it's good, man. It makes you go hard. I'm into it.
Does it not hurt your freaking shoulders to paddle like that?
I mean, a little bit, but
dude, I just have like a different experience than you. I'm like always in between some fucking nagging like pain. And like if I pull as hard as I can on my blades for 30 minutes, like that's just injury around the corner. I need to keep these things ready for some waterfall.
Dude, you're on the Trump exercise train. It's like every bit of energy you expend is a little bit off of your life.
Just off the couch. God, that's how
you need to get some like bungees or something.
I do every day, every freaking day. But it doesn't change. Like if I go out and slam a middle as hard as I can go, like my left shoulder is going to be in a state.
You know what you need? You need to get on that Bowflex with Rob Fuselli out in their backyard.
No doubt. Rob is he looks like he could play for the Steelers right now, dude.
Dude.
I'm going to rave. This goes into a 2021 prediction that I didn't get to in the predictions part, but I'm just going to rave about racing, like kayak racing. I think it's going to be more of a thing moving into future years. And, you all the races, not just green races, it's a shred fest. You just go and you just shred as hard as you can, and then you just lay down your time, and you just have stories and friendships and bonds. And racing is the closest thing to going on like mission and expedition that I've done in whitewater, to being kind of in that pure part of the sport. So I'm gonna just rave about racing. And then I got to rant real quick. I know there's a lot of people outdoors, and I've ranted about this several times, but the littering has got to stop. Like you talked about Evan going up, and you're like, who are these people? They don't belong here. Like at some point, those people need to get assimilated and understand what's going on. I don't know how you do that, but the litter is just like blowing me the fuck up blowing me up right now.
It's bad. It's bad.
That's my raving rant.
I'm gonna rave about the right line of the spout, which I ran for the first time. Because we used to run the spout on the left, which was a fucking ass beater, man.
Yeah.
And
try and boof left?
We'd boof. That was just the line you did, because you'd think if you went right, you're gonna like there be dragons. You know, you're just fucking gonna break your legs, your back, or something, because it kind of looks like it lands on rocks. And so sometime in my absence, people started running the right side of the spout. And so we were over there, and what a game changer. Such a good line. I think back to the years I spent running the left line. Right, Geltman? Have you run the right?
Dude. I'm just waiting for you to pause so I can jump in here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a completely different rapid. It was very cool.
I mean, when we were kids growing up, we all had creases in our boats right behind the cockpit,
exactly,
tagging our stern on the rock behind the curtain on the left.
Exactly. I had a Hydra Mustang that was seriously like this. It's like a 12-foot plastic boat that was bent up at a right angle.
It hurts your back so bad, and it also, that left line, like the water level range is like way tighter. Like it only works for like a 3 or 4/10 water range, and like the right side works from super low to like Richter.
Yeah,
it's total game changer.
Yeah, that's sick. Dude, DC has a bunch of really good paddlers. If you watch those kids coming up, they're fucking good.
The slalom influence there is unmistakable too. We paddled there in Man when we were out there. Mm-hmm. Fucking good. It just reminds you how good you can be in whitewater if you come from a slalom background.
All those young guys, man, they were kids that they just get dropped off or they just do sessions there. It's a lot of work. You have to like hike every time. They're like fat. They're like ninjas on the slippery rocks, and they're just lapping it. And there was like a lot of skill there too. And you could see like being a kid growing up there, and you could get like dropped off at Great Falls by your parents and like fucking lap, Yeah.
I was on that train.
And then it's you're like 15 running Great Falls, and there's like 150 people watching you cheering.
Yeah, totally. You're God.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I think that's about wrap. Episode 78. We're looking at 3 hours and 20-something minutes total for this episode. So
this will be cut into a couple parts.
You got your money. You got your money's worth on this one.
No doubt. All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Evan.
Come back. Time I can talk shit forever, especially about whitewater.
Oh, dude, you're hired.
We didn't get to the conspiracy theories either. That was what I was really looking forward to.
That's next episode, dude.
Keep it. We were scratching at that. It was getting a little dark there.
We were definitely getting ready to get thrown under the bus, man.
Yeah.
All right. 78 out.